As we grow older, something subtle yet profound often begins to shift within us. We find ourselves opting out of social gatherings, eagerly choosing quiet corners over crowded rooms. We might catch ourselves avoiding calls, skipping get-togethers, and preferring our own company. Perhaps you felt it too, that gentle tug towards solitude that wasn't there a decade ago. If you've ever wondered why you or someone you love seem to drift away from the hustle of social life as age advances, you're not alone. Today, we'll explore 6 psychological reasons why it's completely normal to start avoiding people more as you age. These insights aren't about labeling us as antisocial or withdrawn, but about understanding the natural shifts in our minds and hearts. My hope is that these reflections bring comfort, clarity, and a sense of deep compassion to you, whether you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or beyond. Before we embark on this journey, if you find solace and meaning in these conversations, please consider subscribing to The Elder Mirror. Together, we honor every chapter of life with warmth and wisdom. Now, let's gently step into our first reason. Reason number 1. Shifting priorities, quality over quantity. When we're younger, we often believe that more is better. More friends, more connections, more social invitations. But as years pass, our perspective shifts. We begin to sense that life's most precious moments aren't found in large gatherings or endless conversations, but in quiet, meaningful exchanges with a few trusted souls. I remember my dear friend Margaret, who turned 75 last summer. In her 60s, she was the life of every party, organizing weekly game nights, hosting potlucks, and calling her bridge club 3 times a week. Yet, over the past decade, she noticed that attending these events left her feeling drained rather than refreshed. She started longing for slow breakfasts with her granddaughter, heartfelt chats with a neighbor who shared her love for old movies, and afternoon walks where the only company was the rustle of leaves. This isn't laziness or disinterest, it's a profound realignment of priorities. As our years accumulate, we intuitively understand that our time and energy are finite. We gravitate toward deeper connections, the conversations that make our hearts feel full rather than the small talk that merely passes the hours. Circles may shrink, but the depth within them often grows. So, if you find yourself politely declining invitations or savoring solo afternoons more than before, know that this is often a tender sign of emotional maturity. You're choosing to protect your energy for the moments and people that truly matter, because you've learned, perhaps even without realizing it, that depth outweighs breadth. Reason number 2. Increased sensitivity to social energy. As we age, our tolerance for high energy or chaotic social environments often decreases. Something that once seemed energizing, a crowded birthday party, a boisterous family reunion, can now feel overwhelming, even exhausting. This sensitivity isn't about shyness or a fading personality, it's about how our mental bandwidth evolves. Neuroscientists have found that as we get older, our brains become more selective about what stimuli they focus on. Electrical signals in certain neural pathways become less robust, and our ability to filter out background noise, literal and emotional, can diminish. In simpler terms, our brains start craving calmness. Consider Robert, an 82-year-old man who used to love weekend cookouts with dozens of relatives. These gatherings used to bring him joy. But in the past couple of years, when he attends, he finds himself standing by a corner, watching everyone else, wishing he could slip home for a nap. It's not because he loves his family any less. In fact, he adores them. It's because the overstimulation, the loud laughter, the rapid-fire anecdotes, the constant hustle overwhelms him now. Psychologically, we begin to value environments that feel safe and predictable. Overwhelming social energy can trigger feelings of anxiety, fatigue, or even mild irritability. So, to preserve our mental well-being, we instinctively step back. We opt for quieter coffee chats, shorter visits, and smaller gatherings where the conversation flows gently rather than crashing like a wave. This shifting sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a way our mind and body protect us from burnout. It's perfectly normal to seek environments where the emotional volume is turned down, allowing us to engage more fully with our thoughts, feelings, and the few people we hold dear. Reason number 3. Heightened desire for control over time. Time becomes an even more precious commodity as we age. Each sunrise, each sunset feels sweeter and more fleeting. With this heightened awareness, many older adults develop a strong desire to control their own schedules. Instead of surrendering to the unpredictable rhythms of social calendars, they reclaim autonomy by deciding when and with whom they want to spend their time. Think of Elaine, a 68-year-old retired teacher. She used to beg her adult children to set their plans well in advance. Now, she intentionally keeps her weekends open, preferring to decide on a whim which day she'll meet her best friend for lunch or when she'll help her neighbor plant spring flowers. This need for control isn't about stubbornness. It's about valuing independence. Over decades of life, we've learned the hard way that if we don't speak up, our schedules and our needs can easily be sidelined. By avoiding overly busy social rounds, we ensure that the moments we do choose to share are truly our own, crafted on our terms. Psychologically, this ties back to concepts of agency and autonomy. As our physical strength may waver and as societal roles shift, retirement, thinning social circles, health concerns, we hold on to agency wherever we can. By selecting smaller gatherings, shorter calls, or pausing until we feel genuinely ready, we preserve a sense of self-determination. If you've noticed yourself barring out entire evenings just to read a book or taking one-to-one calls instead of group Zoom meetings, recognize that you're safeguarding your time and your well-being. Reason number 4. Life experience fuels selective social engagement. Over the course of our lives, we accumulate a wealth of experiences, some joyous, some painful. These experiences shape our values, our trust, and our desire to invest in relationships. As we age, we often become more discerning about who we let into our inner circle. Take, for example, Samuel, a 77-year-old musician who lived on the road for decades. He shared his life with countless acquaintances, fellow musicians, fans, and strangers. But as he settled into his retirement home, he found himself yearning for conversations that resonated with his life's journey. He sought out fellow music lovers or students of his old blues record collection. He politely declined invitations from folks who didn't share his passions or seemed to drain his energy. This shift is rooted in a principle called emotional selectivity theory. Psychological research suggests that as we perceive our time as more limited, we prioritize social connections that offer genuine emotional reward. In other words, we focus on quality connections, those that provide comfort, shared understanding, and meaningful engagement, rather than spreading ourselves thin across a wide group of casual acquaintances. It's not about arrogance or elitism. It's about recognizing that our remaining years feel more precious and that we only want to invest them in relationships that truly honor who we are. Hence, we avoid shallow conversations and superficial gatherings that once might have felt exciting or novel. Instead, we gravitate toward the warm glow of lasting friendships, family members who truly listen, and community groups that resonate with our deepest interests. If you've caught yourself thinking, "I've been there, done that," when someone invites you to another repetitive social event, be gentle with yourself. You're simply choosing to focus your heart on those interactions that bring genuine joy. By now, we've uncovered 4 of the 6 psychological reasons behind why many older adults begin to avoid people more frequently. These reasons, shifting priorities, heightened sensitivity, desire for control over time, and selectivity driven by life experience, are deeply human and entirely normal. In Part 2, we'll explore the remaining 2 reasons and discuss how to embrace these changes with compassion, both for ourselves and for the loved ones who might not understand this shift. But before that, let's pause for a moment to reflect on these truths. Perhaps you see yourself in some of these points. Maybe you've noticed a grandparent or parent pulling away in subtle ways. It's not a sign of bitterness or disdain, it's a natural response to the changing rhythms of life. And knowing that these shifts are common can bring a sense of relief rather than guilt or confusion. When we understand that our mind and heart are evolving together, we can extend patience and empathy to ourselves. We can explain to friends or family that our retreat from large gatherings is not rejection. It's simply our way of protecting the time, energy, and emotional reserves we have left. Still with me? If this conversation resonates and you want to keep exploring the emotional landscape of aging, please consider subscribing to the Elder Mirror. Here, we gather to honor every stage of life, share wisdom from the years, and hold space for the beautiful complexity of growing older. Reason number 5. Shifting social roles and the impact of loss. As the years go by, the tapestry of our social world inevitably changes. Friends move away, spouses pass on, children build their own lives, and neighbors relocate. Each of these shifts, though natural, can carve out an ache shaped like an empty chair at the table. Take Linda, for example, an 80-year-old retired librarian who once hosted vibrant book clubs and neighborhood potlucks every month. After losing her husband and seeing many old friends relocate to warmer climates or move to care facilities, Linda noticed an ache in her chest whenever invitations came her way. She realized the faces she used to see, bright and familiar, were no longer there. Instead of being energized by community, she felt a pang of grief. Psychologically, these changes in social roles create a cascade of emotions: grief for what was lost, anxiety about forming new bonds that might not stand the test of time, and sometimes even guilt for wanting to withdraw altogether. When the safety net of familiar relationships unravels, we naturally hesitate to weave new threads, especially if the effort feels overwhelming or if we fear more loss. We might think, why bother making new friends if they'll eventually leave? Or we worry that a fresh relationship simply can't compare to what came before. As a result, it can feel easier to stay home, avoiding the potential pain of forging new bonds or rekindling old ones that no longer exist. But here's the tender truth. Preferring solitude after a lifetime of changing social landscapes is not a sign of bitterness or a waning heart. It's our mind's way of protecting itself from repeated heartbreak. It's okay to honor the memories of those who've passed or moved on, and to give ourselves permission to grieve. In doing so, we create space to slowly embrace new relationships, ones that respect who we are now, not only who we were. Reason number 6. Cognitive energy and the need for mental restoration. As we age, our brains go through natural changes. Our processing speed may slow, attention spans can shorten, and multitasking becomes more mentally taxing. Engaging in lively conversations or keeping up with rapid-fire discussions now demands a higher toll on our cognitive energy. Imagine listening to a group of people chatting about a dozen topics at once: politics, grandchildren's latest achievements, travel plans, and family gossip. In our younger years, we might have followed these shifts easily, interjecting with witty remarks or hearty laughter. But today, such rapid transitions can feel more like chasing butterflies than enjoying their beauty. Our mental bandwidth prefers calm, deliberate exchanges, where conversations flow at a pace our minds can comfortably process. Consider Frank, a 76-year-old engineer who used to thrive in brainstorming sessions with colleagues. Long after retirement, he was known for quick wit and sharp observations. But now, when a dozen voices overlap at a family reunion, he finds himself retreating to a quiet corner. Not out of disdain for his loved ones, but simply because his cognitive tank, once brimful, is beginning to run on reserve. This isn't a sign of diminishing intellect, it's a sign of self-awareness. Frank knows that if he stretches himself too thin mentally, he'll feel drained for days. So he chooses to preserve his mental energy for conversations that feel nourishing rather than overwhelming. Research supports this natural shift. Older adults often report needing more recovery time after social engagements. They may take a short nap, read a chapter of a favorite book, or simply sit quietly to recharge. This isn't laziness. It's a biologically informed strategy to maintain cognitive health and emotional balance. If you've noticed yourself scrolling through your phone between family conversations or turning down invitations because you dread the mental exhaustion, you're honoring your brain's needs. And that, in turn, is a healthy form of self-care, especially after years of pushing our minds to the limit. So, we've now explored all 6 psychological reasons: shifting priorities, valuing depth over breadth in our social connections, increased sensitivity to social energy, seeking calmer, lower stimulation environments, heightened desire for control over time, protecting our precious time and energy, emotional selectivity from life experience, investing in relationships that truly resonate, shifting social roles and impact of loss, grief and fear of further loss leading to withdrawal, cognitive energy needs, preserving mental bandwidth by avoiding overstimulation. Each of these reasons is completely normal, not a sign of weakness or apathy. In fact, they reflect a lifetime of learning, adaptation, and self-awareness. Imagine your life as a well-worn book, its pages marked by experiences, joys, and sorrows alike. Now, someone suggests you read every page at once, skipping back, jumping ahead, carrying on without pause. That once felt exhilarating. But as you come to appreciate each chapter's nuance, you realize that you prefer to read slowly, savoring a single page at a time. You're no longer in a rush to finish the story. You want to live it. This same principle applies to social life. We've turned so many pages, lost some characters, celebrated new ones, learned hard lessons about our time, energy, and emotional reserves. Now, we choose to pause, to linger over moments that matter, and to close the cover on what no longer serves us. If any of this resonates with you, here are a few gentle reminders to carry in your heart. Be kind to yourself. Acknowledge that your desire for more quiet time is a natural evolution, not evidence of failing sociability. Communicate openly. Let friends and family know that your social needs have shifted. They may not understand at first, but heartfelt honesty often bridges understanding. Choose moments wisely. Reserve your social energy for activities and people that truly uplift you. A single, meaningful conversation can be more rewarding than several shallow ones. Honor your emotions. If grief or loss is driving your withdrawal, consider gentle ways to process those feelings. Writing in a journal, speaking with a counselor, or joining a supportive community group. Schedule recharge time. After any social engagement, allow yourself a period of rest. Whether it's a short nap, a walk in nature, or simply sitting quietly with a cup of tea. Looking ahead, navigating solitude with grace. Fears around aging and social withdrawal often come from misunderstanding. We worry that avoiding people means losing our social skills, or that we're somehow giving up on life. The truth is, this season of life invites us to nurture a different kind of richness, an inner richness. In Part 3, we'll explore practical strategies to stay connected in ways that honor your evolving needs while still embracing the peace that solitude can bring. We'll discuss how to maintain meaningful relationships, find purpose outside traditional social circles, and use technology thoughtfully so that you can balance solitude with connection on your terms. You deserve love, respect, and understanding at every age. By learning why you withdraw, you empower yourself to make choices that nourish your heart and mind. If you found comfort in these reflections, please subscribe to the Elder Mirror, where we share heartfelt stories and wisdom for every stage of life. Together, we'll continue to illuminate the beauty and the challenges of growing older. Now, in Part 3, let's focus on navigation, balance, and acceptance. How do we honor these natural shifts while still maintaining the warmth and connection we crave? How do we stay true to ourselves and our emotional needs without feeling isolated or guilty? Below are practical strategies, gentle reminders, and closing reflections to help you embrace this stage of life with grace and self-compassion. Strategy 1. Redefine connection on your own terms. When we think of social connection, we often imagine large gatherings, boisterous laughter, and endless chatter. But as we age, connection can and often should look different. Instead of measuring the number of interactions, focus on their depth and quality. Phone calls over parties. If in-person events feel overwhelming, try shorter, more frequent phone calls with a close friend or family member. A heartfelt 10-minute conversation can be more fulfilling than an hour at a crowded gathering. One-to-one walks or chats. Invite a neighbor for a slow walk around the block. The fresh air, a gentle pace, and one-on-one conversation often feel less draining than sitting through a full social calendar. Write letters or emails. Penning a thoughtful letter or a brief email to someone you care about can be a soothing alternative to phone calls. The act of writing slows the mind, and giving someone tangible words of care can foster a deep bond. By redefining what connection means, prioritizing intimate exchanges over quantity, you align your social life with your emotional needs. It wasn't until I switched my weekly coffee date to a short phone call that I realized how much energy I saved for myself, shares Evelyn, age 78, and those calls became the highlight of my week. Strategy 2. Embrace social microdosing. Just as some people talk about microdosing their coffee or screen time, you can practice social microdosing. This means engaging in brief, intentional social interactions rather than long, exhausting events. 5-minute check-ins. Drop by your friend's room in an assisted living facility for 5 minutes. A quick, heartfelt hello can uplift both of you without demanding hours of energy. Good morning waves. If you live in a community home, greet neighbors as you pass by common areas. A brief smile, a wave, or a quick comment like, "Lovely weather today, isn't it?" can foster community without draining your reserves. Short group activities. Instead of committing to a 2-hour bingo night, choose a 20-minute puzzle session or a 10-minute group stretch. These mini engagements maintain social bonds while respecting your need for mental rest. By microdosing social contact, you stay connected without overwhelming your cognitive and emotional bandwidth. It's like enjoying a single bite of dessert, satisfying without overindulgence. Strategy 3. Honor your energy patterns. We all have natural rhythms, times of day when our energy feels abundant and times when we need rest. As you age, honoring these energy patterns becomes crucial to staying balanced. Morning versus afternoon preferences. Notice if you feel more alert in the morning. If so, schedule shorter visits or phone calls before lunch. If afternoons feel calmer, perhaps reserve that time for a neighbor's drop-in. Rest days are sacred. After a day of socializing, allow yourself a rest day to recharge. This might mean reading a book, enjoying a favorite hobby, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts. Recognize rest as productive. It helps you show up fully the next time you choose to engage. Watch for warning signs. Pay attention to subtle cues. A headache, irritability, or fatigue after socializing may indicate you've reached your limit. Take note and adjust future plans accordingly. By listening to your body and mind, you avoid pushing yourself into exhaustion. This respect for your own rhythms fosters better mental health and helps you approach relationships with renewed energy. Strategy 4. Cultivate purposeful activities outside social circles. Social connections matter, but so does having a sense of purpose, a reason to get out of bed and feel excited about the day. As social circles shrink or become more selective, it's vital to find or continue activities that bring you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of meaning. Hobbies that nourish the soul. Maybe you enjoy gardening, painting, knitting, or woodworking. These solo or small group activities can keep you mentally and emotionally engaged. They also provide a sense of accomplishment and joy. Volunteering. If health and mobility allow, consider volunteering for causes you care about. Reading to children at the local library, tutoring adult learners, or helping distribute meals at a community center. Even a couple of hours a month can bring a profound sense of connection with the world outside. Mentorship and storytelling. Younger generations crave life stories and wisdom. Offer to share your experiences through a local community group, a faith organization, or even a simple family gathering. This exchange bridges generational gaps and gives you a valued role. Physical activity with intention. Gentle activities like Tai Chi, yoga, or a dance class designed for older adults can foster both social connection in small groups and physical well-being. The shared experience of movement can strengthen bonds without overwhelming noise or unpredictability. Engaging in purposeful activities not only fills time, but also provides rich emotional rewards, a sense of belonging, accomplishment, and contribution that may compensate for reduced social circles. Strategy 5. Communicate openly with loved ones. Your loved ones may not automatically understand why you're pulling back. They might interpret your avoidance as disinterest or rejection. Clear, compassionate communication can bridge this gap. Explain your why. Share that your needs have changed. Use simple language. I'm finding large gatherings too tiring now, but I'd love to spend an hour chatting one-on-one next week. This clarity helps them understand that your withdrawal isn't personal. Set realistic expectations. Let family and friends know how often you feel comfortable connecting. If weekly visits feel right, say so. This way, they know you still value them, but within limits that respect your energy. Offer alternatives. If a big family dinner feels overwhelming, propose a virtual call or an afternoon walk together. Suggesting an alternative shows you care, even if the format changes. Reaffirm your love and appreciation. Many older adults worry their loved ones will feel hurt or misinterpret their needs. A gentle reminder, I love you all and cherish our time together. I just need smaller moments to connect fully. Open communication fosters understanding, reduces potential resentment, and allows loved ones to support you in ways that honor your genuine needs. Strategy 6. Embrace technology thoughtfully. Technology often gets a bad rap as causing isolation, but used thoughtfully, it can be a bridge, especially when distance or mobility is a barrier. Video calls for face-to-face connection. A 15-minute video chat with a grandchild or friend can be far more enriching than a phone call. Seeing expressions, sharing laughter, and even holding a virtual meal together can strengthen bonds. Social media with boundaries. A private group on Facebook or a small WhatsApp chat with close family or friends can allow you to share photos, stories, and updates at your own pace. You choose how much time to spend scrolling and responding. Online interest groups. Platforms like Zoom or Clubhouse host book clubs, music appreciation groups, faith-based discussions, and more. Joining a small online community aligned with your passions, gardening, history, genealogy, can offer connection without leaving home. Reminders and gentle prompts. Use calendar apps to remind you of a friend's birthday call or a scheduled video chat. These gentle prompts can reduce anxiety about forgetting and help you maintain consistency without overthinking. The key is to set healthy boundaries. If you find video calls draining, limit them to once or twice a week and schedule them during your peak energy times. Embrace technology as a tool for meaningful engagement, not a source of overwhelm. Accepting and celebrating this season of life. As we close this journey through the 6 psychological reasons for avoiding people more as we age and explore practical strategies to navigate this natural shift, let's pause to honor the overarching truth. This is not a deficit, it's an evolution of self. You are not becoming less social because you've lost interest or because something is wrong. Instead, you're finding new ways to protect your energy, cherish your time, and live authentically. You're prioritizing what feeds your soul and letting go of what drains it. That, dear friend, is a sign of wisdom. Remember these final thoughts. Your worth isn't measured by the number of invitations you accept. A life well lived is not counted by parties attended, but by moments felt deeply. Solitude can be a sanctuary, not a sentence. Choosing alone time can recharge you, nourish your mind, and help you stay fully present in the connections you do make. Ask for help when needed. If loneliness drifts into sadness, reach out. Whether it's a counselor, a warm support group, or a good friend, sharing the weight can lighten your load. Celebrate your growth. Every year brings new lessons. Your shifting social needs are another chapter, one filled with refined priorities, deeper insight, and a clearer sense of self. If you found comfort, clarity, or hope from these reflections, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to the Elder Mirror. Together, we can continue sharing stories, wisdom, and gentle guidance for this beautiful, complex journey of aging. Thank you for spending these moments with me. Remember, you're not alone on this path. We walk it together, listening to the whispers of our hearts and honoring our needs, one quiet step at a time. Until next time, stay kind to yourself and cherish the gift of each day.